Welcome to Empowered. I'm Elizabeth Naumovski. Ever wonder why your stomach's always bloated and you're feeling uncomfortable and irritable? Have you gained some weight recently? Oh, that awful feeling. Is it what you eat? Maybe your lifestyle choices, or it could be both. Today, I'm joined by Shemek, a leading fat cell researcher, health and weight loss expert, award-winning author, and a recognized authority on inflammation. She's also the best-selling author of How to Fight FATflammation. Lori made it her mission to take her PhD in psychology and combine it with her strong commitment to good health and nutrition. Lori, welcome to Empowered.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth. It's so nice to be here. Such an honor, really.
Well,
I've been looking forward to it.
I've been looking forward to speaking to you. We
Thank
follow each
you.
other on Twitter. I see what you
Yes.
do. But what I want to do is, I want you to quickly tell us, why you do what you do. I read your book, and and for you, it was extremely personal. So why don't you go and explain to us why you're so passionate about what you do?
Yeah, thank you. So I was raised with a mother who wasn't well most of the time, right? It was just a constant stream of different health conditions. And yet it was the choices she made. It was the sugar, for breakfast, the coffee cake and the coffee with lots of sugar in the coffee, right? She smoked a pack and a half of cigarettes a day. She was verging on obesity at that point. And she was under enormous stress. You can imagine the kind of stress one would be under raising 3 children on your own, right? She had no support anywhere. So it was really sad to watch her health degrade all the time. I mean, there was always something wrong with her. And so I knew that choices at a very young age, choices really do make up who we are as a whole. And sadly, my mother passed away at the very young age of 36, leaving behind 3 young children with literally nowhere to go. And so, when I became older, I wanted to help people and just to encourage them that with the knowledge that they do have power in their choices, right? And that we can make a good choice. So I got my doctorate in psychology, and I did that. I worked for family outreach for 20 years, became vice president there. And then I followed through with my love of health and nutrition. I left family outreach and I went back to school to become a nutritionist, and became a life coach as well, combined all of that to really help people make different choices in life. And that's what I've been doing ever since.
And that's amazing. You've got this award-winning book, and it's all about how to fight fatflammation. That's
Right.
very difficult to say.
It is,
So let's talk about, what is inflammation, and then what is fatflammation?
Okay, so there are 2 types of inflammation. There is acute inflammation, which isn't so cute, by the way, because it's painful, it's uncomfortable, it's swollen, it's red, throbbing, but we need it. Without it, we would not be alive. We're literally sitting ducks without it. So we want acute inflammation to keep us alive. The other type of inflammation, well, let me just give you an example of acute inflammation before we move on. Say you cut your finger. That cut is acute inflammation in action, because soldiers come to the site of the wound, they heal the wound heals, the soldiers disappear, the inflammation disappears, and all is well. And then there is chronic inflammation number 2, which sadly is very prevalent these days. And we can go into why, but it is the underlying core cause of most illness, disease, faster aging, and weight gain. And so what a lot of people don't understand is that their lifestyle choices, and I'm underscoring that word choice again, really makes up our health for the most part.
Okay, so when we come back, let's delve in a little bit deeper on the 2 inflammations. And, maybe you can explain a little bit more why they're so crucial and why we need stuff like that to help us going and help us understand what is actually going on in our body, what we need to do to help us out, and why we need it. So please don't go away. We will be right back with more with Lori Shemek. Welcome back to Empowered. I am Elizabeth Naumovski. Today's episode, we're discussing the importance of your health, more specifically inflammation. Now, Lori, before we went to commercial break, we were talking about acute inflammation and chronic inflammation. So is there anything else that you wanted to talk about regarding chronic inflammation?
Just that, know that it is, as I mentioned, the core underlying cause of most illness, disease, faster aging, and weight gain. And some of the diseases would be heart disease, osteoporosis, rheumatoid arthritis, Alzheimer's, obesity. Every single health condition, in fact, has an underlying inflammatory ring to it, if you will. So it's something that we can, for the most part, mitigate to a large extent.
So before we go on to fatflammation, how do we mitigate it?
So that is through diet, lifestyle choices, and that includes sleep, stress, exercise. We've all heard all of it before, but it's really so crucial to get the right kinds of foods in, because you're creating cellular health. And when the cells, for example, don't have to deal with, say, the toxins from processed food, then they can express optimally, as opposed to inflammatory.
So let's talk about fatflammation. You wrote a whole book on it, but a lot of people that I was talking to said, well, what exactly is that?
So what it is in a nutshell is that our fat cells become these little inflammatory factories. So when we eat, for example, a diet high in processed food, like the standard American diet, then we have a problem with inflammation, because the body doesn't really know what to do with these foods. So in a lot of ways, what will happen is it will store things as fat, right? Or it will store the fat in the liver. And so when that happens, our cells, our fat cells, expand, and they act as if they're infected, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, they leach out inflammatory molecules. This has a metabolic effect that literally slows down the metabolism over time. And so when you take care to keep that diet clean, and you do exercise, and you do keep that stress level down purposefully, and all the things that you can do will help, including supplementation, will help optimize health and fat cells. So it's, not every diet, I hate to even use the word diet, works for everybody.
Yes.
But one way of eating is to ensure, and a very important way, is to ensure that it's rich in polyphenols and antioxidants. And really, bottom line, is key.
So, okay, so you just mentioned polyphenols
Phenols,
and
right?
antioxidants. So let's talk about those. What are they, and how do they help you? How do they get rid of the inflammation?
So these polyphenols and antioxidants are contained generally within plant foods. You'll find them. And what's wonderful about them is they tamp down and protect you from inflammation. So they fortify the cells. They promote mitochondrial health, which are those little organelles within every cell. And that's important because our mitochondrial health is crucial. So within every cell, we have multiple mitochondria, some more than others, and the densest amount of mitochondria are in the most energy producing organs, such as the eyes, the brain, the heart, and muscles. So after the age of 40, it's not hard to imagine that when you start losing your mitochondrial function, health, the robustness of them, the number of them, you will start to see your muscle mass degrade, and of course, aging sets in as well.
Okay, so we have 30 seconds before we go to break. I want to ask you about seed oils. Are they good or bad for you?
They are bad. And I know a lot of people want to think that they're good. And so, they're saying, well, we've heard canola oil is so wonderful for you. And, it has this health halo to it, but it is one of the most inflammatory oils. And it's because there's a 12-step
Lori,
process.
I'm sorry. Hold that thought. We're going to talk about the 12-step process when we
Sounds
return.
good.
Welcome back to Empowered. I'm Elizabeth Naumovski. On today's episode, we're discussing the importance of your health, more specifically inflammation. And before we went to break, we were talking about seed oils. And sorry, I had to stop you. You were talking about the 12-step process.
Yeah, so it's really interesting because canola oil. So let me just start by saying there are four main evil oils, if you will, and that would be soy, corn, vegetable oil, no vegetables in vegetable oil, and canola oil. Those are the four. Unfortunately, canola oil, being the worst of them, has the health halo to it, right? And it is really sad because it's cheap. All of these oils are very cheap, and food manufacturers use them in almost every packaged product. So not only do I want people to look out for sugar on the nutrient label, but also look for those four oils. And it's amazing what will happen to your weight, to your cravings, to your skin health, and your inflammation level will all come down.
Wow, that's really interesting. So let's continue now. What
Mhm.
foods and lifestyle choices create inflammation, faster aging, and will actually shorten your health span? Because we need to understand this so that we all make healthy and proper choices for ourselves.
Right. And that's a good question, Elizabeth, because these seed oils, so the two worst uh, foods, if you can call them that, are seed oils and sugar. Okay. Sugar it creates something called the glycation effect in the body, which means simply that it caramelizes. In any protein in your body is caramelized, changes the nature, the structure and function of that tissue, not just with lines and wrinkles and sagging of your skin, but inside the body too, the tissue in which is everything practically. And so when we stay away from those two things, you are far ahead of the game in terms of optimizing your health. And so those are the two worst. The other would be junk foods, because of course they contain a lot of sugar and these seed oils. And they're just made, and the other thing I need to mention about seed oils is that they are heated. They're not only heated when they're created, which is oxidized fat, but they're also reheated when we use them. Okay. So
Mhm.
that's a very important point, and that is major inflammation, immediate inflammation in the body. And if you want to protect your health, if you want to age slower, lose weight, stay away from those oils because they do all of that.
Okay, so stay away
The
from those
opposite.
oils. Which ones do we use then? Which are
That's a
good
good
for us?
question. So, yeah, the top one is olive oil. Olive oil is crucial to health, in my opinion, if you can eat it. Avocado oil is excellent. Coconut oil is another one, and butter is also excellent for you. Many people are afraid of butter because of the saturated fat in it, but we now know that saturated fat is actually very good for us, so we don't have to be afraid anymore.
Okay, and it's so
Same with
funny that you say butter because it's such a simple solution. It's been around for hundreds of years.
I know it. It contains butyric acid, butyrate, and the gut is very important for gut health, which is the epicenter of overall health in general. So
So,
when you, yeah, so that's a whole other show, but gut health is crucial to everything we're talking about.
so we have about a minute, 15 seconds left in this segment. And I want to talk about, I want to focus on cellular health. How do
Mhm.
we do that? How do we, like, why is it so important for us? I mean, obviously for our skin and everything else, but how do we focus personally on cellular health?
Well, that is the easy way to do it, without having a science degree, is to just eat healthy. Eat a healthy, nutrient-rich diet. The Mediterranean diet is great for doing that, but any type of way of eating you choose is just fine. Pescatarian is another one where that's fish and veggies, and
Mhm.
those veggies provide prebiotic fiber for gut health, which is important. And then what we want to do is to just keep maintaining a diet that's encouraging a lot of polyphenols and antioxidants.
So, what I hear you saying is it's so much easier to cook at home for yourself and not eat out
Yes.
and not, purchase fresh
Yeah.
vegetables and fresh food
Yeah.
on a regular basis. We will be right back with more of what Lori Shemek has to say. Welcome back to Empowered. I am Elizabeth Naumovski. On today's episode, we're discussing the importance of your health, more specifically inflammation. And I'm joined by Lori Shemek, who holds a doctorate in psychology and is a certified nutritional consultant and a certified life coach. Lori, you and I could talk for days and for hours. I'm loving this show because I'm learning so much. I want to talk about vitamins right now. We see so many different
Yeah.
vitamins on the store shelves. And as girlfriends, we're always trying to talk to each other and share what supplements we're taking. What supplements help optimize our health?
So I think I'm going to just address a couple of them that are most people are deficient in. There's some data out there showing that almost 90% of our population is deficient in magnesium. Magnesium is critical for optimal health, and you'll recall I mentioned mitochondria, which is, if you have healthy, robust mitochondria, then you have healthy cellular health, right? And when you're deficient in magnesium, those mitochondria cannot make ATP, which is critical. It's the energy we get from the mitochondria. It's what we use to stay alive, essentially, cellular
Mhm.
energy. And that's why when people are deficient in magnesium, they're tired all the time. They don't know why. They have heart palpitations. They have anxiety and stress. And when I put my clients on magnesium, a lot of their symptoms disappear. It's really remarkable.
I'll probably have to
So
get some magnesium tomorrow then.
yeah, please do, because so many are deficient. And there's so many other reasons where it can lead to poor health. Vitamin D is another one. Vitamin D3 is critical. Without it, we are really sitting ducks in terms of health. So make sure to get that vitamin D3 and also omega-3. Now, we've all heard all of these before, but it's very important. New research is coming out showing how important marine oils are for our health.
Mhm.
It's challenging for people to convert the plant form of omega-3. ALA is what it is.
Mhm.
And so they tend to be deficient. People who generally eat just plants tend to be deficient. And so there are tests out there one can take to see where they're at with their omega-3 level. And though the Japanese eat a lot of omega-3, ingest a lot of omega-3, and they have the longest life longevity.
Mhm.
And we here in the United States are not there, and we are far down the field from the Japanese in terms of our ingestion of omega-3, because we don't eat that much in North America. We don't eat that much fish, and so, or seafood in general. So it's important to supplement with it, but make sure you supplement with a quality product, always purified and third-party tested.
Okay, so we're coming up to the close of the show. A few
Mhm.
things. Water. Why is drinking water so important to us?
It is important because, again, every single cell in the body requires water. right? Every single process in the human body requires water. When you're sleeping for 8 hours and you wake up and you get some coffee and you just wait till later in the day to drink some water, that is hard on your cellular health. That is inflammatory. When you drink water, you are lowering your blood sugar, you're lowering your blood pressure, and then the cells have energy. It's similar to drinking, it's similar to coffee in the sense that you're alert and you're awake if you drink water first thing when you wake up.
So Lori, I've learned so much today. I thought this was a really, really great
You
show. I can't wait to have you back on again at some point. And I just want to,
love that.
just thank you for sharing all of this wealth of your wisdom. So thank you so much for being on Empowered.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Really, it was an honor.
In closing, I want to take a quote from Lori's book. Her mother died at the age of 36 when Lori was just 17 years of age. And she said, and I quote, "She didn't have to die. She could have made better decisions. She could have made better choices." So, ladies, this is our aha moment. Think about what you eat and your lifestyle choices. Are they helping you live your best life to the fullest? Or can you make changes, big or small, that will help you live a better life? I'm Elizabeth Naumovski, and I'm here to empower you and make frugality fashionable. Thank you all so much for watching. See you next time. Bye for now.